Hi there guys, welcome to today's Captain's Blog. Today on the bench, the E-Flight F-15 64mm EDF from Horizon Hobby. This is my second of these. This is their chance to redeem themselves because the first one exploded on the first battery. It threw about a third of its turbine blade just off. So we're gonna go through the assembly process on this with you guys. Because now I've had a rehearsal. So that's what it looks like in the box. I figure we take a minute and unbox this, put it together, check it out. So the way I do it is I like to cut off the tape. There's a wing. I just slice the tape down the side of the box and pop it open. There's the other wing. And we get into the little delicate tape. This is just like masking tape. This gives us our magnetically attached nose cone, which for a part that is so simple and so cheap, and you know you're going to buy a few of, they're surprisingly expensive. Here's our vertical stabilizers, fuel tanks, carbon fiber strut. Oh, stickers. You actually do need these two stickers. You'll see why in a bit. Check and make sure nothing's hidden in there. Okay. So we've got landing gear here and hardware. Let's see if this one goes together easier than the last one, because the landing gear on the last one was kind of jank. I gotta think they're pretty much the same. And here's our fuselage, which I'll just set aside over here for a minute. Oh, those weren't the V-stabs, those were the elevators. So, there's the vertical stabilizers. Here's the book. And then we'll just drop this all back together, because if for any reason we gotta send it back, which never happens. To be fair, I've owned like hundreds of Horizon Hobby aircraft. There's pictures on my Facebook with my old collection all lined up across the Vehicular Sciences Lab at the NSI. Here's our Ordnance. And I've only ever sent one back, and that was the predecessor of this. Always check the bottom. They frequently hide things. Usually it's the manual, but they frequently hide things in the bottom. We'll just set that aside over there. So, we've got ourselves an aeroplane. Alright, now the live stream's on the right camera too. So this one, I'd like to point out right off the hop. Look at that. This is smashed. Right out of the box. Can you see how off angle that is? This is smashed really bad, and often, but I don't really care. I just, wow. Come on, Horizon, you guys, you're the good guys. You're a little more expensive than everybody else, and the trade-off is you have amazing customer service and you tend not to ship Hobby King level quality products. So let's see. Oh, it doesn't have the wimply servo that the last one did. Alright, let's follow the instructions so that at least we do this in the right order. Alright, we're going to start with landing gear. So you get 3 landing gear, left, right, and front. And once you do the front one first, which is pretty easy, all in all. It's just one little grub screw into a thing. Once you get this exactly where you want it, I suggest a little blue Loctite. Okay, so that's in. And then we do these. Now you might think they go like that, but they go like that. And if you want to be weird, you can put them to the middle, but people look at you funny. No, they do go forward. They go forward like that, so that when you land on them, the force is transmitted back into the thing. Now these kind of snap in. Kinda. I had a bit of a fight getting them in before, and I'm having a little bit of a fight getting them in now. So we have our bag of 1,000 screws. Leave the foam pad in there. So you get 2 of these. One's white and one's gray, so that you know what side they go on. Now you gotta have this in there, you gotta bring this, so this wants to clip in this end, then this end, so it's kind of tricky to get it in there. I had the same problem last time. So what I'm gonna do is just take the whole thing out and put the plastic on it. And then you just kind of wiggle it, jiggle it, and it eventually all settles down into the hole. So 5 big screws are for the wings. Little screws are for the landing gear. And we're going to need a tiny little Phillips right here. You can see that pops out till you get it screwed down. Now we'll do the other side. So put your plastic in the thing. Put the back end first. And it's a bit of a fight. It's art. Somebody's got to suffer. You got to get the plastic down and in, and then actually get the wheel fully clicked into place. But with a little love and a bit of a Swedish massage, you can get it right where you want it to be. Don't over tighten these. You're doing metal into plastic, so you don't want to like reef on it. You'll feel it. The minute you feel the resistance kick up a notch, you want to stop. Right there. It's just like fingertip tight. Yeah. All right. She's got wheels. Perfect. Ready to fly. Oh wait. I need the nose cone. There. Now it's ready to fly. We're set. Alright, so that's step 1 and 2. Next is wings. Wings are easy. You've got a hole right here, and it's a hollow carbon fiber tube, and you just drop that right into it. Even it out. do make sure you put the wings on right side up. The servos go on the bottom, and you'll see the aileron servo lead is right here. This is where that sticker comes into play. We'll get into that in a second. So there's also another hollow tube right here. You run that in. Get that about where you want it. And then the other wing goes the same way, servo on the bottom. Line it up, slide it in. And make sure you don't crunch anything when you bring the wing up to the fuselage. And you'll see the little tabs here fit in the slots on the other side. So now we can flip this over. And there's 4 holes for the 4 bolts, and we can do our plugs. So this is pretty quick and easy too. We just got to find an Allen wrench the right size. Did they send one with? No. Alright, so I'm going to grab an Allen wrench. So these, you just drop in the hole, spin it backwards, and that'll let it worm its way down, and you'll feel it start to click against the starter thread. And then these just thread into a little brass insert. So these are a little bit more skookum. You don't have to be terribly afraid of breaking out, but still, it's just fingertip pressure. And yes, you're dealing with a real bolt into a real metal sleeve, but still, they're all in plastic housings, and it is delicate. So on the aft bit of the wing, you want to squeeze it together, so I'm just going to lean on it a little bit. And you'll feel it engage. Be careful not to cross thread them, because it'll bind, and if you cross thread it, it's forever. That would be bad. Though really, if you've done anything bad enough to... Now look at that. You can see the weeble wobbles a little bit. Front one's engaged, you can see it lines up. And the back one's engaged, and there's a fair bit of weeble wobble in between. The quality of manufacturing on this particular jet is not what I would consider up to Horizon Hobby's relatively decent standard. Like, it's still better than FMS, but the funny thing is they come out of the same factory. It's just a different set of orders. Okay, so I'm going to bring that in a little bit, like that, and then get my thread started, and then just send it. Alright, well now we've got wings. Now it starts to look like an airplane, but it still won't fly, because while we could have roll, we'd have no control. We'd also have no pitch control and no yaw control, only roll, because we've got ailerons, but we don't have stabilizers or elevators. Oh, the thing we got to do at this point, see how this wants to fit right in there? Well, this wants to fit with it. So you can see our yellow wires on the back, so we're going to flip this around to the yellow wires to the back. It's important to have polarity. And then just push those together, seat that down in there, and tuck this wire into the groove already in the wing. That should all fit nicely together. And then here is where we grab, on this side, the gray sticker. And then just put that right over top of it. And that secures your plug and everything all together. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we tuck our wire in, and we've got yellow to the front. You got to make sure you line the pins up right. Don't just force it. Then we grab the white sticker because this side with the splinter camouflage color scheme is white. Alright, and then you just crease that down. There! Alright, our wings are totally mounted, ready to go. Oh, what do the instructions call for next? We might as well follow the book. It tends to be written well by people that know what they're doing. Alright, we're doing horizontal stabilizers next. Now this is neat because usually with Horizon models, you don't have to worry about glue. The weird thing is, they specifically state, apply regular, not foam safe, medium CA glue, that's cyanoacrylate, to the base of the horizontal stabilizer where it meets fuselage. Well, I gotta go upstairs and get some, because I don't have it handy. I'll be back in a second. Alright, so the next step is to install the vertical stabilizers, or the horizontal stabilizers, and those look like these. And this step takes a minute because you have to actually glue them in place. So it's going to take a while for the glue to cure for mounting these on. Now when you put them on, the control horn, which is wonderfully already installed, goes on the bottom. So that's our port, and this is our starboard. And on mine there's stickers on it already for the no step stickers, and those are on the top. So they should look like that when they're done. And we're just going to glue these into place, hold it there for a second, and we're just going to let this cure for a while. So we'll come back for the next phase. I might actually flip the whole plane upside down for this. Hang it off the bench. It's going to sit like that. Yeah, take the nose cone off and shove it on a bench a little further. Yeah, that'll clear. I'm half tempted to just hot snap these on, but the instructions say regular glue, non-foam safe. So I'm using gap filling medium. You don't have to use too much either. I'm just pushing until everything lines up. I'm just going to hold that. Just a little bit of pressure. And with years of practice, you too can do this without gluing your finger to the model every time. Okay, so that wants to stay there. It's doing all right. Let's do the other side. So we're going to let this totally dry for a few hours, and then we'll come back to this and do the next steps. But for now, we have landing gear, wings, and horizontal stabilizers all in place. But I want this to totally dry before I take the next step, so we'll probably just let this ride out until morning, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're back. It's now 10:46 in the morning on the next day, and our glue is dried, so we're totally cool there. And while we have the plane upside down, we're going to put the linkages on, and you'll want these two things. And it comes with an extra set of rubber bands, but in my particular install, they're already on there. So you want to make sure you have the little elastic bands on the end of your control linkages. So for here, it wants us to put them in the center hole here and the outer hole here. So go in here first. My center hole isn't quite big enough for the rod. If you're buying pin vise stuff like this, micro tool holders and things, I strongly recommend Panavise. They make decent stuff. Dremel makes good stuff, Panavise makes good stuff. We'll just run this right in here, really gently. And while I'm at it, I'm going to do the other side too. Okay, that's way better. And now we should be able to just pop our control arm right in. Oh yeah, that's way more better. So you go in like that, pop around the 90, and then you're set here, and then we'll figure out where we need to be for the length. But I'm going to put the other arm in while I'm at it. Okay, so both of our arms are in. So now, all you gotta do is just snap the thing in, but you can see where it wants to sit. So our arm's a little bit too short, so to make it a little longer, and you want to make sure your servo is up and centered. I'm just going to keep extending that arm till it lands where it wants to be. Yeah, that's about right. And then just snap it together. You put the arm through the hole, snap it together, and then bring the rubber band down. And now everything's where it wants to be. So we'll do exactly that on the other side. That looks about right. Oh, on this side, I didn't have a rubber band on it, so we got to unsnap that. And the easy way to do it is pop the arm right off. And then we'll slide the band down. There! So now we have ailerons and elevators. And the next step is to install the vertical stabilizer. On this plane we have two of them, and this plane has no rudders. This is bank and yank. Now you'll notice for the vertical stabilizers they have printing on one side but not the other. Printing goes out. So these are going to want to sit about here. We'll just dry fit them there. And it looks like an airplane. How about that? So let's grab our glue. And we'll make sure these sit right. Yep, okay, that looks good. And we'll just put some glue on them. And then we'll just press this down into place. Make sure everything's bonding the way it should. And move on to the other one. Just hold that down in place for a second. And then we'll just apply some pressure. And now we have an airplane. Couple basic tweaks, set up a radio, and this should pretty much fly at this point. But I still want to do all the alignments and everything, so we're going to let this dry for a bit and we'll be back in a minute. So at this point we've pretty much got a complete airplane. All of our glue is dried. The next steps really are to put the ordnance on, which is super simple. The actual installation of the ordnance is easy. I'm going to build one up just to show you how, but I'm not actually going to put the fuel tanks and ordnance on the plane because, as you can see, my fuel tank arrived damaged and bent to hell. But the way it goes together is really simple. The long part goes forward, and you'll see there's two clips, and these just push in and then slide back. And you want to have a firm contact in, have it square, and then slide back, and then they stay right on. This one might be able to mount. Not really. It's so twisted I can't really. Let's try it on this side. Yeah, it's a little kitty wampus, and it'd look really dopey too if I put it on there like that. So the only real thing left to do on here is pop the nose cone on, which is the easiest thing ever because there's a magnet and it just pops right on like that. And if you put it on upside down, it'll fit, but it looks dumb. So point goes down. And at this point we've built a jet. Only step from here is to power it up and bind it. So let's do that. Alright, so last step for us is to bind it, and we'll need a bind plug, which looks like this. You'll need your radio and a battery, so we just open it up like so. On this one you pull from the back, there's a nice lip on the front. I really like the canopy design on this. I remember the old models, the magnets weren't quite so good and they'd like to pop out. The old Radian used to do that a lot. This is way better. So we just have a battery handy, and on the far side you're going to have your bind port. That's already got a thing in it. So that tells me this is our bind port. Oh, I love the extended bind port. That's really nice. Alright, so we're going to put our bind plug in. And polarity doesn't really matter, but the plugs are keyed nonetheless, so there. Okay, so we're plugged in for binding. Now there's a system to this, and you got to do it in the right order. It's not hard, but you want to get it right. Now I like being able to switch safe select on and off, so you can bind this so that safe mode is on. And the way to do that is make sure transmitter is powered off. I've already keyed it to this model, and I already had the model set up from a previous, because this is the second one of these I've owned. Transmitter controls to flight neutral, low throttle, install a bind plug, place the aircraft on its wheels, connect the flight battery, it'll beep. 3 flat tones followed immediately by 2 ascending tones. Confirm the low voltage cutoff is set correctly for the ESC. The orange bind LED on the receiver will begin to flash rapidly. Now this isn't a fully charged battery. This is a battery that's at a storage charge, so if it sets LVC off of this, I'm okay with that. Because this is where I want to stop my battery anyway. Remove the bind plug, take 3 steps away, and then bind it on the radio. Okay, we can do that. Alright, so here's our binding procedure. 1, make sure the transmitter is powered off. Transmitter's off. 2, move the transmitter controls to neutral, Got that. 3, install a bind plug and a receiver bind port. Okay. Now these are keyed. You want to make sure you get it in the right way. It doesn't matter electrically, but it matters mechanically. It'll go in a lot easier one way than the other. Place the aircraft level on its wheels, connect the flight battery to ESC. The ESC will produce a series of sound, 3 flat tones followed immediately by 2 ascending tones confirm that the LVC is set correctly for the ESC. The orange bind LED on the receiver will begin to flash rapidly. Okay. Not at all what it said it would do, but okay. Remove the bind plug from the bind port. Okay. Take 3 steps away from the aircraft and power on the transmitter while holding it. Yep, okay, so then we bind it.
Binding. DSMX 22 milliseconds. Bind complete.
Okay. And the plane's doing a little dance. Okay, everything's happy. We beeped, we're solid, we're good. So now we'll unplug it. We're good there. Hang our bind plug back up so we don't lose it. Now let's power it up and see if we have a jet. Everything works the way it should. Now I want to see if the elevators move. Yes, they do. Alright, so we are in safe mode and I can assign that to a switch, and that's just do the thing and flip it 5 times and you got it. So yeah, we got a jet. So while we're sitting here on the bench, let's wind that turbine up to full power and see if it explodes sitting here. You can also see it gives it quite a lot of up elevator. So this one appears to be awesome. Let's see if she survives a maiden flight. So there's the basics and quick overview of the very nice new F-15 out from Horizon and E-Flight and whoever else wants to hang their name on it. I like it. I really like this plane. There's some stuff that I complain about on it, but it's amazingly fun to fly. If you want to do the Ordnance package, you can, but it's going to slow you down because you're adding a lot of parasitic drag. It's really simple. Just glue these onto here. These really remind me of the old G.I. Joe setup. I want to see E-Flight release a series of G.I. Joe model aircraft that harken back to the original ones from like the late 80s. But to put these on there, you can just hot snot that in place, or if you do it the way the book says, because this has paint on it, poke a couple little holes in here to make the glue stick better and put them on and they work fine. But I just leave them off. That's just me, especially since one of them's completely bent. I'll have to do something interesting with this. It may involve the pool, because this shape works really well in water. I might do something fun involving this and a camera. So there's your F-15 ready to fly, and the next video you see of this will be the maiden flight. I'm excited. I like this plane. You guys have fun. I'm Chris Boden. You're not. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.